with those numbers there. So let's bring in the director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia, Larry Sabato. He's also the co-author of Campaign of Chaos, Trump, Biden, Harris, and the 2024 American election. Larry, good to see you on this Sunday. Let's start first with what Harry was talking about there. Republican registration way up in those major swing states. What does that tell you as we look toward the midterms?
Well, it's hard to paint it as good news for Democrats. Obviously, it isn't. I do want to say, though, 20 states are not included. 20 states, including mine and Virginia, do not register by party. And some of them, like Virginia, have moved in the opposite direction. They're voting more Democratic. And that really is the difference between registration figures and the voting results, election results. Often party registrations are lagging indicators. And the other important thing to remember is that while Republicans have definitely gained in those 30 states relative to the Democrats, both Republicans and Democrats are in the 20s in terms of their percentage of the electorate. What's nearly 50%? Independents, and a small slice that identify with libertarians or Greens or have no party affiliation at all. So the voters that actually matter more than ever are independents. And there, Democrats have done much better. Though, again, I'm not going to change the basic thesis here. Democrats have a lot of work to do, and they have not done well at all, even since Trump took the presidency again.
And so, look, you, as we were saying, Democrats facing their lowest approval ratings in decades. Republicans, as you note, while they were seeing their registration go up, they, amongst independents, still have some work to do as we look to the midterms. When you zero in on these independent voters that you're talking about that will be so key, that always are, but certainly will be in these midterms, what do you think they're looking for right now?
Well, they tend to be even more focused on the economy than do party registrants for Democrats and Republicans. So they're looking for economic improvements. They want the prices brought down, as they were promised, and other pieces of the economy to get better. That's good news potentially for Democrats, depending on what happens between now and the midterms. But if you've noticed the pattern in public opinion polls, and you have to look across all the polls, not just focus on one or two or three that please you, you can see that independents have actually broken pretty substantially against Trump. They're the main reason why his job approval is now in the low to mid 40s. He hasn't been over 50 really since the very beginning of his presidency. That is the best signal of what is likely to happen in the midterm elections. Job approval for the incumbent president. A lot of time to change, but things aren't as bad for Democrats as some are portraying. They're not good either. As I said, they've got a lot of work to do, but you can focus too much on the bad.
Well, and look, we have seen this when President Trump is on the ballot. There are a lot of people who vote in those elections who just don't vote in other elections when he's not on the ballot.
Absolutely. And of course, he won't be on the ballot in 2026. He actually, right. I assume he won't be on the ballot in 2028 either, though with Trump, you never know. But if he's not on the ballot, you're going to have probably several million, more than several million people who would vote otherwise were Trump on the ballot. They come out to vote for Trump, and incidentally, they vote for the other Republicans. Well, if they're not drawn out by Trump to the ballot, obviously those are votes Republicans may need to keep the Senate and the House of Representatives.
I also